الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Okay, so inshallah ta'ala, we're very restrictive in time. We don't have a lot of time, so we're not going to waste or try to waste a lot of it. We're just going to get right into things. So starting off with the Arabic, inshallah ta'ala, making sure those letters are very big. And where are we? Must have passed it. Okay, there we go. All right, go down a little bit. Okay. So we were dealing with two letters. So we're on the last line here. We're on this line, inshallah ta'ala. And after that, we're going to move on to explaining and practicing how to read the shadda. But we're still on sukoon, right? Here we have two letters. The first letter of the word has a kasra, right? Every single one of these letters, every single one of these words, the first letter has a kasra. But the first letter is different for each word, right? And the last letter of each word is the same, and that has a sukoon. Okay. So let's look at the first example here. What letter is this? Who knows? What letter is that? This is not a tha, no. No. It is a sheen. Right, so this is a sheen with a kasra underneath it. How do we say a sheen with a kasra underneath it? Shi. Shi. Right? And then what letter is this? The second letter is a fa with a sukoon on it. So how do we say a sheen with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa with a sukoon? Shif. 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 Okay, next letter, our next word, what letter is this? What letter is that? Wrong. Wrong. A kha. This is a kha. No one got that right. How do we say a kha with a kasra underneath it? Khit. Like khimar. Right? So this is khit. So how do we say a kha with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa with a sukoon? Khif. 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 Okay, the next word. What's the first letter? A ghain. And how do we say a ghain with a kasra underneath it? Ghain. Right, so this is ghain. 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 Right? Ghiyab. Right? Ghain. 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 So how do we say a ghain with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa with a sukoon? Ghif. Ghif. So we have shif, khif, ghif. Shif, khif, ghif. Shif, khif, ghif. Shif, khif, ghif. Okay. The next word, what's this letter right here? No, it's not a sod. A dod. So, how do we say a dod with a kasra underneath it? Li. Right? So we say li. 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 Like liyab. Li. 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 So how do we say a dod with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa? Lif. 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 So we have shif, khif, ghif, lif. Shif, khif, ghif, lif. Okay, let's look at the next word. What's the first letter? It's a dal. A dal. Okay, so we have a dal with a kasra underneath it. How do we say a dal with a kasra underneath it? V, right? V. So we have V, right? How do we say a dal with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa? How do we say a dal with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa? Vif. That's correct. Vif. 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 So we have shif, khif, ghif, vif, and now we have vif. Okay, what letter is this on this next word?
Sheen.
Wrong. The sheen is over here. Seen. How do we say a seen with a kasra underneath it? Sit. 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 So how do we say a seen with a kasra underneath it, followed by a fa with a sukoon? Sif. 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 Okay, so now we have shif, khif, ghif, dhif, dhif, sif. All right, now, what letter is this? A ra. How do we say a ra with a kasra underneath it? Re. That is correct. Re. 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 So how do we say a ra with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa with a sukoon? Rif. 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 Okay, what letter is this on this word? Ameen. How do we say ameen with a kasra underneath it? Mit. 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 Okay, so how do we say a meme with a kasra underneath it followed by a fa with a sukoon? Myth. 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 So we have shif, we have khif, we have rif, we have dif, we have this, we have sif, we have rif, and we have mith. Okay, so with that, those were our exercises for the sukoon, and I think by now we should have a clear understanding of what part the sukoon plays in a word that is Arabic, or in an Arabic word. So we're going to build on that. Yes?
The sukoon is like it's silent.
Yeah. No, well, not silent. Because silent means that you don't say it at all, but we hear the sound of these letters. Do we not?
Yeah.
The fa, don't we not hear the sound?
Right.
What it is the sound without a vowel.
Sound. Sukoon is a sound without a vowel.
Yes. Now we're going to build on that. And we're going to cut you off the shadda. When we see the shadda on a word, it's going to look like this. Almost like a small W. Right? So this small W here that's on top of this word, or this letter. And what letter is this, by the way? A ba. Right? So we have a shadda on top of the ba. That shadda, it symbolizes something for that letter. So here we have a word, right? The first letter of this word is a what? A sin. And that sin has a what above it? A dhamma, right? And now the ba has a shadda, and then it has also a vowel on it. What vowel is that? It's a fatha, right? So we know that the ba somehow is going to have a sound, right? And we know that the sin with a dhamma has a what sound? So, okay. When we see a shadda on a letter, we have to envision that the word is looking something like this. So the first letter that doesn't have a shadda on it, it doesn't change. A sin with a dhamma, a sin with a dhamma. But the word that has a shadda is, we have to read it like this. And that's why it's important for us to know what a sukoon does. Right? So how do we say a sin with a dhamma followed by a ba with a sukoon? Sub. Sub. Then how do we say a ba with a fatha? Ba. So combining these sounds, how do we say this then? How would we say this? If we combined the sounds that we got from this, from breaking it down, what? Subba. Subba. And that is the effect that the shadda gives the letter. We pronounce the ba twice. The first one without a vowel, the second one with a vowel. Okay? So, sub. You hear the ba sound, right? And then, ba. So, this is how we would read that. Subba. Subba. Right? And that is how we read a shadda. Any questions before we go on to the next example? Okay, so let's look at another example. The same thing, different letters. So here in this example, we have the first letter being a what? A dab with a dhamma, and the second letter being a fa with the shadda, and above the shadda is a fatha. And the fatha gives a letter, the sound. Right? So, the dal with the dhamma, we pronounce that as a du. And then we have a fa with a sukoon. How do we pronounce the dal with the dhamma? Followed by fa. Duf. Right? And then the fa with the fatha? Fa. So, if we combine these sounds, how do we say this? Duf, fa. Duf, fa. Duf, fa. Duf, fa. So this is how we would read that word. Okay? So the shadda is telling us that that this letter, there's two of it. The first with the sukoon, which we have to pronounce with the letter before it, and the other one carries that vowel sound that is originally on the letter. So that doesn't change, right? So, normally if the shadda wasn't there, we would read this word like this, right? A dal with a dhamma and a fa with a fatha. So it would be du, fa, right? Du, fa. But it's not. Because we have the shadda, we have to have that extra sound in our pronunciation. So we say du, fa. Okay? So that's clear? You guys see the difference between if there was a shadda and if there wasn't a shadda? Okay. So we're going to practice on that, not today. I just wanted us to have that concept. But inshallah, the practice aspect of that will come next class. Have any questions?
You know what? On those, like you got them there, can you print those out?
Yeah, I could print that out, inshallah. I'll get it to you, inshallah, by next class, inshallah. Okay. All right, so now let's look at tajweed. We're still going over the rule of ikhfa, and we've covered the 8th, I do believe, to 8. So we're at 9 and 10 and all of those examples. So we'll go 9, 10, 11, 12 being the last example. Okay. Before we cover these examples, is anyone not clear on the issue of ikhfa? Anyone having any problems with it? Go ahead. What's the problem?
My problem is how to connect the letters together in the sound.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's gonna that's good. That means that this is just a little bit advanced for you right now, and so you're not there at this level yet. Yeah, that's gonna take some time to get there. So don't worry about it too much, inshallah. All right. So other than that, then I think we could.
This one person, she was married to an Egyptian actually, and so she converted to Islam, and then she went back to Catholicism. You know, so anyway, she was telling me at the Cleveland Public Library, they have the main library, a whole complete section on the Arab language actually that breaks down everything.
MashaAllah. As they should. You know, I mean, it's very important for them to get this down, as it is for us, for different reasons. But yeah, they do have extensive work when it comes to the Arabic language. I wanted to jump a little bit ahead here, okay? Because I think that we kind of understand the and it was only like 2 examples left. We kind of understand the intent behind the rule of ikhfa. Now I think it's time for us to go to another rule. The third rule, dealing with noon with a sukoon. So we covered idhar, which was the first rule we covered, which is basically reading the noon sound, the noon with the sukoon, reading it just like how you would normally read it, right? Make sure you pronounce the sound clearly. And that, though, idhar, that rule of idhar only applies to 6 letters that come after it, right? So the noon with a sukoon followed by either a hamza, ha, a ha, kha, ayn, and ghayn. So those 6 letters, if they come after the noon, we pronounce the noon like normal. And then for ikhfa, we learned that if 15 letters come after the noon with the sukoon, we hide the sharp noon sound, right? We say it lightly. We stop ourselves before we can pronounce the sound in words. And that goes with, we learned that, from the poem, Sif Dhathanakum Jada Shakhsun Qad Sama, Dum tayyiban zid fit tuqa zalima. We learn from that line of poetry the 15 letters. So the 15 letters: sif, the sod, the dal, thanakum, the tha and the kaf, jada, the jim, shakhsun, the sheen, qad, the qaf, sama, the sin, dum, the dal, tayyiban, the ta, zid, the zay, fi, the fa, tuqa, the ta, da, the dad, zalima, the va. And those are the letters that if they come after the noon with the sukoon, we do not pronounce that noon sound clearly. But we don't have to memorize all of those letters. We just have to look to see when that noon shows up, is there a sukoon on it or not? If there's a sukoon on it, we know that we pronounce idhar, right? We pronounce that noon clearly. If there is no sukoon on that noon, we know that we have to implement the rule of ikhfa, meaning that we hide the N sound. Okay, so those are the two rules that we've covered. This is a new rule, and this rule is called idgham. 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 And this, the rule of idgham, also applies to 6 letters as well. The rule of idgham also applies to 6 letters. But what does idgham means? Let's try to understand. It says here, the meaning of the letter noon, that is a consonant. We know that noon is a consonant, right? Not followed by a vowel. That's what sakina means, right? There's no vowel on the noon. With certain consonant, excuse me, with certain consonants that are followed by a vowel to become one singular stressed letter. So the noon with a certain letter that has a vowel on it, instead of becoming separate letters or separate sounds, we meld them together into one sound. Okay, what are those 6 letters that if they come after the noon with the sukoon, we meld the noon sound together with these letters? They are the letters that you find in this word. So, the word yarmaloon comprises to know to implement this rule. So the ya, the ra, the meme, the lam, the wow, and the noon. Okay. All right. Okay, this doesn't look right. It kind of messed up here. So that's not a good example. But we can see it here. Okay. Let's look at number 2, because number 1, there's a problem wrong with the font. Okay? In number 2, look at this word right here. We have 2 words. The first word is min. And so min is a noon with a sukoon. And the next word is nur. Right? Nur is one of those 6 letters. Noon is one of those 6 letters that if it comes after a noon with a sukoon and it has a vowel sound on it, we implement this rule of idgham. What does that mean? We don't say min nor, we say min nor. We act as if there's a shadda on the noon. And that's why it's kind of good that we actually covered shadda today. So it kind of makes here you can't really see a huge difference because this is a noon and this is a noon. But you're going to see once we cover the examples for ya, ra, meme, lam, and wow, you're going to see the difference in the sound. Because even if this rule didn't apply, you'll probably still say it the same way because they're the 2 exact same letters. Min nur. Min nur. You know, so that goes without saying. That's an easy one. But now let's look at See, all of these, I don't know what's wrong with the font here, why it meshes them together like that. Um, let me try changing the font. Okay, New Time Romans, that's not a, oops, what just happened? Actually, that's a little bit better. Can you guys read that font? Is that font difficult to read? Hold on, let me see if I think I have a Quran. Yeah, let's try this Quran font. Is that better or the other one? The other one? Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So let's look at this example here, right? We have this sentence or half of a sentence, right? We have wa, ba, ra, kun, right? Barakun. That's tanween, right? It's two dhammas. Even though it looks like this, it doesn't look like two dhammas, but it is two dhammas. That's how they write it. That's the font. The font writes it like that. So this is the word ba, ra, kun. So you have that sound, right? The noon sound is there. And then we have the word yaj'aluna. Yaj'aluna. So what the rule says is, we don't say barakun yaj'aluna. We drop off the noon sound and we combine it with the ya, as if there's a shadda on the ya. So we read it as if it's written like this. Wa barakuy. Barakuy yaj. Barakuy yaj'aluna. Wa barakuy yaj'aluna. And we're gonna show some examples of this in the Quran. This is from the Quran, by the way, but we're gonna show other examples as well.
Would it be in the Quran? Is it like the second part?
No, it won't be written like this. That'll be too easy. That would mean that you wouldn't have to remember the rule. You just read what you see. No, it's written like this, but you have to remember to turn it into this. Yes, you have to pronounce it like this, even though it's written like this. Okay. All right. So let's look at the fourth example here, and then we're going to go into the Quran and try to practice on this new rule. But let me change the font here. Okay, how does that look now? That's a lot better. Okay. All right, so let's let me try and get rid of this thing here. Okay. Let me move this up too as well. First of all, is that do you guys need it? Let me make this bigger. I keep forgetting to make it bigger and stuff. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so if we look here at these two words, and this is from a surah that you guys know. Yawma idhin na'ima li sa'yiha radiyah fi jannatin 'aliyah. Right? That's Surah Al-Ghashiyah. Right? Alright. Yawma idhin na'ima. Now because noon to naturally, it's going to come together. So you would read it like this. Yawma idhin na'ima. Now the only difference that you have to remember from reading this normally and reading this as a tajweed rule is that you stress the existence of the shadda by vibrating your nostrils. So, yawma idhin na'ima. Yawma idhin na'ima. Not yawma idhin na'ima. No. Yawma idhin na'ima. Yawma idhin na'ima. Now, it's confusing. Remember, this is our first time. This is our first time exploring this rule. So, it's okay if it's a little bit, daunting and grasping it is not all there. That's okay. Because now what we're going to do, we're going to open up this mushaf that's on my computer. And we're going to try and find those three rules. The two that we studied and we should know very well. And this new one, because it's all in this surah. Now this is Ali Imran, right? So it's the third surah of the Quran. this is verse 43, or 2 verse 43, it's actually verse 38. And there's a lot of examples going through this. Okay, so let's look at verse 38, from here to here. And tell me if you see idhar, idgham, or ikhfa. Are there any idhar, idgham, or ikhfa in this verse?
You said going from the top.
Yeah, from the top to before the 38. And there is, I'm going to tell you right now, there is ikhfa. Actually, two ikhfa. Huh? Min? Oh yes. Min right here. You say that that's what? What is that? Is that ikhfa, idgham, or idhar? It is idgham. Because look, didn't we say the lam was one of the letters, right? Yarmalun. The lam is one of the letters of idgham. So how do we say this? Do we say min ladunka? No, we say min ladunka. And that's why the shadda is there. We skip the noon sound. The shadda with the, we say mil ladunka. Okay, so that's idgham. What else do we see? In the same word, there's another rule. No, we can't go there. There is one there too. But there's still something, we have a noon right here. So what is that? Is that idgham, ikhfa, or idhar? It is not idhar. If it was idhar, you could see the sukoon on the noon. It's ikhfa. It's ikhfa. So, min ladunka. Min ladunka. Okay? Alright, so now that we're done with that, you already recognize that there's a rule right here. Right? Because of the tanween. On dhurriyatan. Okay? So, is that rule? Is it ikhfa, idgham, or idhar? Look at the letter after it. We have the tanween, right? The noon sound is right here. We have to look at the letter after it. Is the ta a letter of idgham, idhar, or ikhfa? Ikhfa, right? One of the 15 letters of ikhfa. So, dhurriyatan tayyiba. Okay, so that's that. Here we have tanween again. Followed by hamza. Is that idhar, ikhfa, or idgham? It's idhar. One of the 6 letters of this is again so much, right? Now we gotta remember all these letters and stuff. But yes, this is one of the 6 letters of idhar. Remember the throat letters, right? We have hamza, we have ha, we have we have kha, we have ayn, we have ghayn. All of these letters, they come from the throat. That's how you can know. So any of those throat letters, we pronounce the noon sound clearly. Right? So it is dhurriyatan tayyibatan innaka sami'ud du'a. So here we have ikhfa because of the ta, but here we have idhar because of the hamza. Okay? Alright, now let's go down to this. From here to here. I see idgham already. That's right. What's this? Qa'imun, we have tanween on the meme, right? So, and we have a ya after the tanween. So is that idgham, ikhfa, or idhar? Know your letters. The ya is in which category? Idgham. Idgham. Remember, yarmalun. If you guys want to, we got to go back, man. Come on, you guys didn't write these letters down? Come on, man. You have to write these letters down. You have to know where these letters come from. Like we said, these letters right here, those letters that we find in this word, right? 6 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 letters are part of idgham. These 6 letters are part of idgham. If you see a noon with a sukoon, and then you see these 6 letters after it, then you know that to implement the rule of idgham. So you have to meld. You have to meld those letters by using the shadda. Okay, so we know that those 3 letters are for idgham. What are the letters of ikhfa? They are in the poem right here. Right? Let me make it smaller. So this poem,
All the ones that's underlined.
yeah, all the letters that are underlined, those are the letters in the poem that are part of ikhfa, part of ikhfa, right? So you have that, and you have the, so this is the first line right here, and then this is the second line right here, right? So we have, here's the dal, right? Here's the ta. We gave examples with the ta, the zay, the fa, ta, dad, and dha. Right? Those were some of the letters. And it's 15 letters. And we gave examples of, I think, 12. You know? Ikhfa, yeah, this is ikhfa. So ikhfa, spelt this way. There it is, ikhfa, right? Which means to cover. Right, so that's ikhfa, right? We have those 15 letters for ikhfa. And then for idhar, we also have 6 letters for idhar. Right, so let's look at idhar real quick, which was the first thing we studied. And idhar is right there. And they're the 6 letters for idhar. Oops. Right, so the 6 letters for idhar, you know, we said kha, ayn, ha, ghain, ha, ayn, ha, and hamza. Those are the 6 letters of idhar. So if you want to know which rule to implement, you have to remember those letters. But there's a cheat for ikhfa, because when it comes to ikhfa, they do not put the sukoon on the noon. But also that goes for idgham as well. So, but idhar they do. They put the sukoon on the noon, so that makes it easy for you to try to differentiate between some of those rules. Okay, so now let's go all the way back now to idgham. Oh no, I'm sorry, not idgham, but to the what we were reading here. Okay, so we're on this surah, and we were talking about qa'imun, right? We said qa'imun is idgham because ya is part of the letters of idgham. So how would we say this then? Go. Go, keep going.
My school bag.
I don't know your school bag, I don't know where that is. Okay. So we have the word qa'imun, and we have the word after it, yusalli. See, the ya with the dhamma, how do we say that? You. Right? And then we have the meme with tanween, so that is mun. Right? Qa'imun yusalli. But how do we say that with the rule of tajweed? Qa'imun yusalli. Qa'imun yusalli. So, وَهُوَ قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّي فِي الْمِحْرَابِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُبَشِّرُكَ بِيَحْيَى. Here we have tanween. But this rule we didn't study, so we're going to skip that one. But here, the word kalima has tanween. Right? It has tanween, and it has after it meme. Is meme from one of the letters that we implement, one of the rules? Is a meme, huh? What? What rule is it? Is it idhar, idgham, or ikhfa? Idgham. Because yarmalun. Ya, ra, meme, lam, waw, noon. So meme is, wait. Meme is one of the letters of idgham. So, kalimatin min Allah, it will be kalimatim min Allah. Kalimatim min Allah. Kalimatim min Allah. Right? Okay. Where's the next rule of tajweed? Tanween right here, followed by a waw. What is that? Idhar, idgham, ikhfa. The waw? The waw is part of what rule?
No, the waw is.
Wow, it's part of
Idgham, yes. So, how would we say this then? This is the word sayyid, right? We have the word sayyidan. Then we have wa hasuran. Sayyidan wa hasuran. Now remember, the n sound in sayyidan, we drop that. We have to combine it with the waw in wa hasuran. So, wa sayyidan wa hasuran. Wa sayyidan